Hi, I'm going to show you how to trim a pot on the wheel. Now I'm talking about a beginner pot, a small piece that was thrown on the wheel. So here we go, here's the piece. And the first thing you want to do is you want to get your tools. You want to get two trim tools, either the large handled one, which is good for the beginner, and then the small handled loop, or the small loop tool, which is better for more advanced trimming. You're also going to need a ball of clay, about the size of your fist, like that. Turn the pot upside down on the wheel, and you need to center it. And so centering to trim is different from centering to, when you're making a pot. Here you want to use the rings of the wheel head to just guide you like that. Slowly spin the pot around, and you can hold your finger like this and see every time it hits your finger it means it's too far over in that direction. Slowly move it over. Now remember, your beginning pots are probably not so centered when you throw them, so just try to get them the best you can in the center of the wheel. Then you want to take your balls of clay, you want 3 of them, and place them around your piece like an equilateral triangle. And before you push them in, make sure that they're well placed around. Hold your pot down, and then you're going to push down 3 times onto the wheel head. So you have 3 balls and then 3 pushes like this. You don't want to smash it into the rim of your pot because you don't want to distort the rim. Now when you're trimming, there's basically 2 places you trim. You trim the profile and then you trim the bottom. And that's the order that you do it in. You want to trim the profile first, get the sides to look exactly like you want to look. Hold the trim tool in your right hand, put your left fingertips on top, and make sure your hands are connected so you have support. Also, my elbows are up against my body so I have more support. And you want your piece to be leather hard when you trim, because then you can get enough clay off without distorting the shape. If it's too soft, you risk distorting the shape. If it's too hard, you might crack your rim. So now what I'm doing is I'm pulling off the clay from the bottom corner here to create a nice straight pot. And I keep checking every once in a while to see my shape. Just removing this very nicely. Like this. So now you can see that this piece is very straight up and down on the sides like this. So now I want to work on my bottom. Now one thing about the bottom is you want to make sure that this middle piece is depressed and lower than the rim, than the edges, excuse me. If this is above it, then what's going to happen is your pot is going to wobble. So when you're trimming, you want to aim your trim tool down a little bit in the middle and then slowly bring it out to the side like this. And you just want to keep checking every once in a while to make sure you're not too thin. You just kind of bring it out like this. And then I'm going to use my finger to smooth it down. Now, it appears that you might be done at this point, but I just want to make a note about glazing. When you glaze, you have to wipe your bottom, etc., because you don't want the glaze to be completely at the bottom. So what you can do is you can actually trim in a nice little bevel, which is a great spot for you to end your glazing right here. And then this gives a nice undercut to the piece and creates, a little space for you to wax so your glaze doesn't go all the way down. So here we have just beginning trimming right here. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to make a foot on here. This is really basic beginning trimming. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a little bit of a foot, which is a little bit more of an advanced technique. And you create a foot by taking your trim tool and you bring it down the side of the pot just a tiny bit, and then you start to cut in to the side of the foot, to the side of the pot. Now a lot of people think the foot comes from the bottom of the piece. It actually comes from the side. And then you want to round up your edge right here to make it smooth. And then you can carve away from the bottom. And the foot really should be like a ring just that's right up over and around the pot. Now this is where the little trim tool comes in to play. A smaller edge like this can give you more flexibility for some details. I'm going to use the flat side right here. All right, and then then I'm just smoothing everything over with my fingers. And now I'm working inside like this. So trimming really makes the piece. You can take a small, dumpy little beginner pot and turn it into something very beautiful and elegant by adding a nice foot.